Carlyle and Newman by Frank Wilson Cheney Hersey. Among the great voices that stirred England in the early years of the Victorian era, none were more eloquent than those of Newman and Carlyle. The one a suave ecclesiastic who lighted against the candles of the medieval church, the other a volcanic Scots peasant who set the Thames on fire. We may still hear the sound of their voices and note the vast differences in their appearance, their manner, their tone and method, and their appeal to their generation. Matthew Arnold's description of Newman at Oxford remains forever in the memory. Who could resist the charm of that spiritual apparition gliding in the dim afternoon light through the aisles of St. Mary's, rising into the pulpit, and then, in the most entrancing of voices, breaking the silence with words and thoughts which were a religious music, sweet, subtle, and mournful. I seem to hear him still saying, "After the fever of life, after weariness and sickness, fighting and despondings, languor and fretfulness, struggling and succeeding, after all the changes and chances of this troubled, unhealthy state, at last and at length comes death. At length the white throne of God. At length the beatification." Now the other man comes before us, as noted by Caroline Fox in her journals. Carlyle soon appeared, and looked as if he felt a well-dressed London audience scarcely the arena for him to figure in as popular a lecturer. He is a tall, robust-looking man. Rugged simplicity and indomitable strength are in his face, and such a glow of genius in it, and always smouldering there, but flashing from his beautiful grey eyes, from the remoteness of their deep settings under the massive brow. His manner is very quiet, but he speaks like one tremendously convinced of what he utters, and who has much, very much, in him that was quite unutterable, quite unfit to be uttered to the uninitiated ear. And when the Englishman's sense of beauty or truth exhibited itself in voracious cheers, he would impatiently, almost contemptuously, wave his hand as if it were not the kind of homage which truth demanded. And this man flung forth such ringing words as, "Be no longer a chaos, but a world, or even worldkin. Produce, produce. Were it but for the pitiful influential fraction of a product, produce it in God's name. 'Tis the utmost thou hast in thee. Out with it then. Up, up. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, it will do." Unbelievable that. Whatever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy whole might. Work while it is called today, for the night cometh, wherein no man can work. That's a pretty eloquent introduction to Carlyle and Newman. Oh, unfortunately, when we read this stuff, it means we have to delve into it and learn a little bit more about it. And suppose that's what growth is all about. Reaching out, reading, learning, and hopefully inspiring others. It must have been unbelievable to be in the presence of these minds. I hope, if you persevered through this, that you took something out of it, and that you will tune in again next week for the second installment of Duncan's Readings.